we get to talking about stuff in the comment section, and I realize that there's all kinds of hockey related stuff I haven't been able to talk about because of previews, reviews, what's going to happen tonight. We don't have hockey tonight, so I got all kinds of stuff I can talk about. So for patrons out there, you're like, oh, finally he's going to get to our videos. Yes, I will. Um, Jim Balsillie, or Balsley, depending on how it's pronounced. I've heard it pronounced both ways, so I'm going to say it both. He made 3 attempts to buy an NHL team, and I realize that we may have a lot of subscribers who may not have been aware of all 3 attempts. October 5th, 2006, $185 million pledged with the idea of moving the Pittsburgh Penguins to Hamilton. He withdrew on December 15, 2006. Why? Because the NHL said, yeah, you're not moving them to Hamilton. That's not happening. So when he wasn't given the right to renegotiate an arena deal and get out of town, it didn't happen. Now, Jim Balsillie is the guy that ran the company responsible for Blackberries. And depending on who you ask, he's either a really good businessman or an idiot. So it really depends on you. Or crazy. Crazy for the idea of we need a team in Hamilton. May 23rd, 2007. So, how many months is this? And Balsillie comes back wanting to buy the Predators. Like, all right, I'll just buy the Predators and move them. Not having learned his lesson from Pittsburgh. June 28th, 2007, Nashville owner Leopold decided not to finish the sale. But the NHL made it clear that the Nashville Predators weren't moving. He wasn't just taking the team and moving them. And in 2007, they really did look like a team that, yeah, you can move them. There's a video I did last year on the Predators and their turnaround where I said there were a lot of people in Canada who looked at this move at the time and said, oh, yeah, we never should have had hockey in Nashville in the first place. It was a month before the ownership group went, yeah, we're not doing this. So you'd think, after 2 attempts in less than a year, that he'd be done. No! May 5th, 2009, he puts down $212 million conditioned on moving. Jerry Moyes, who was the owner at the time, like, yep. Also told him, said, can you sign a debtor's agreement, meaning you'll pay off the debts of $16.7 million? And Balsley's like, yep, sure, and signed off on that, and everything's great. The NHL didn't like it. They didn't like it at all. So the NHL actually bid to own the team. June 15th, 2009, the judge ruled against Balsley taking over. And in the meantime, the NHL took the owner's rights away from making decisions about what was going to happen with the team. And this is where a lot of the conspiracy stuff comes in. But Hamilton? Maybe? September 30th, 2009, the exact same judge that ruled against Balsley rejected the bid again, and then did it with extreme prejudice, which means he can never bid on the team again. He didn't want to deal with them again. Well, I agree that Arizona's been mismanaged and misrun poorly, and the attendance has been poor. I don't necessarily agree with this strategy either. 3 different occasions he decided I can take money and go to troubled hockey franchises and buy them. And it's weird because you look at Pittsburgh right now and you say, well, they got Crosby and Malkin and they've won back-to-back Stanley Cups. They weren't in trouble. They were. This is before the Crosby effect. So Mario Lemieux was the guy in charge, but this was before Crosby stepped in. And basically, with Crosby and a turnaround on the ice, that saved the team. Pittsburgh was in that trouble before. Before Mario Lemieux played for them, there was talk of the Pittsburgh Penguins potentially moving back in the 80s. Mario comes in, they win a couple of Stanley Cups, and all that talk goes away. It's a fascinating little part of hockey history. It's when a multi-millionaire / billionaire, depends on how you view their finances, whether they're really billionaires or not a lot of the time, tried to step in and just buy a team and move it. And it's 3 different times the NHL came in and said no. And in all 3 cases, they were all supposed to move to Hamilton. I think the only time he had an actual ticket drive was the Predators. So he had a Hamilton season ticket drive, like, all right, here's how many tickets we're able to sell, to kind of sell it to the NHL, and it didn't make a difference. And again, I understand that two of these are Southern franchises, and it's real easy to pick on the Southern franchises and say, well, they'll never support hockey. But you need to have more of a plan than just, we'll just move them. Because his plans seem to be along the lines of, we're just going to move him to Hamilton, we've got Cops Coliseum, or whatever else he thought he was going to get built, and we'll just go with that. And that isn't a great strategy. That's a 70s style strategy when you've got Kansas City, Cleveland, Oakland, and all these cities moving in and out. And while I don't necessarily agree with the NHL fighting so hard to keep the NHL in certain cities, I can understand why they do it. And in these three situations, they were right to do it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Again, I did this because I understand there are going to be hockey fans who are new coming in who may not even realize there are 3 different times that one Canadian businessman tried to buy a team and move it to Hamilton, and in all 3 cases, there was a no. The one thing that was interesting that came out of this was when Bill Daly said there is no actual agreement in NHL in writing that would allow Toronto to block a team in Hamilton. So the idea that, oh, Buffalo would never allow a team there because, you know, they have rights to that region. That's not a thing in the NHL. In other leagues it is. In the NHL it's not. If the National Hockey League comes in tomorrow and says we're putting a team in Hamilton, none of the cities can say anything about it. They might get compensated, but they can't stop the team from going there. Unless the NHL amended things since then, but Bill Daly himself said it, we could put a team wherever we want. So if they wanted to put a second team in Toronto and the NHL said, yeah, that'll work, the Toronto Maple Leafs might get compensated, but it doesn't mean that it blocks the second team from going there. So interesting to look at. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And if you're from Hamilton, I'm sorry. I don't think the NHL wants a team in Hamilton, and I don't think it's going to happen. But it's an interesting part of our history to look at. And you still have the Hamilton Tigers, right? That was from back a ways, but there's that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.